After an 11-day break for exams, Georgia back on the hardwood today as the 6-3 Lady Bulldogs welcome in the 6-3 and SoCon preseason favorite Furman Paladins. And good afternoon, I'm Matt Stewart, joined by Coach Christy Thomas-Cuddy. And not only 11-day exam break, but it's been 11 days since the Lady Bulldogs were beaten by 34 at defending national champion Baylor. And the opponent today, pretty tough. They come in with a 3-game winning streak.
Well, for UGA, 2 major scoring droughts in that loss to Baylor in the second and in the fourth quarter. The catalyst now for them to come back with a renewed sense of focus on taking care of the basketball, owning the glass, and executing on the offensive end.
Furman led by Tiara Hodges. She's the current SoCon Player of the Week.
Tiara Hodges is dynamic off the bounce. Watch Furman run so many sets for her to get the ball and try to exploit UGA's bigs today. To me, that's the game within the game to watch.
Meantime, Gabby Conley continues to be the number 1 for the Lady Dogs, and she was the SEC Player of the Week 2 weeks ago.
Gabby continues to grow in all facets of her game, from leadership to her physical capability. She's taking it off the bounce and scoring for the Lady Dogs, knocking it down from 3, setting the table for her teammates, and she not only leads this team in assists, but also steals.
And, Coach, here's a look at the stats comparison for the two teams. Pretty similar coming into today's game, although Georgia leads the all-time series 15-0.
The catalyst for both these teams, if they're going to get the W, has to be ball control. Both teams have struggled taking care of the ball. Watch each team today try to have a renewed sense of ball security.
And that's going to be a season-long story for Georgia. If they're going to improve upon the preseason prediction of finishing 10th in the SEC, they've got to clean up that aspect of their game as they get ready for conference play.
Well, basketball is a game of possessions, and you want more of those, and UGA cannot continue to kick themselves in the butt by turning it over.
Georgia in the white starts on offense. And that's Stephanie Paul at the top of the circle. Q Morrison in the starting lineup today. She's played 35 and 36 minutes in Georgia's last 2 games. Gabby Conley. Here's a look at the starting 5 for Furman. Manaliovich, Davidson, Petty, Hodges, and Taylor.
And Furman's a team that's going to run a lot of sets in the half court. Can they execute by even getting the offense started? Meaning, can they get that entry pass to the wing in order for the offensive flow to begin?
Down to 7 on the shot clock. Manaliovich working against Conley. Down to 1, and Manaliovich has to heave up a 3. Did draw iron. Rebound Q Morrison. Conley, open lane to the basket. Stady misses the putback. Morrison controls the rebound.
And if you're a UGA fan, you're excited about what you've seen so far. Great half-court execution and the ability to stay on the offensive glass.
Georgia's starting 5, Conley, Caldwell, Morrison, Paul, and Stady. 3 on the clock for Georgia. Caldwell with 1, candid. 3-pointer, Maya Caldwell.
And Matt, that's key for UGA. They've got to be able to knock down the long ball because Furman is going to play off and force them to have to knock it down from deep versus allowing them to get to the rim.
Petty working against Caldwell, drives, left-handed layup attempt, no good. Rebound underneath. Paladins had it knocked away, stolen away by Georgia. Ahead to Morrison on the wing. Stady down low, put it in.
Stady at 6'4", over the 6'1", Lindsay Taylor. Taylor cannot allow Stady to come down in transition and bury her deep in the lane like that, or it's going to be a lot of easy points for UGA today.
7-0 lead for Georgia. Paladins have missed their first 3 shots. 7 on the shot clock again. Petty puts it on the floor. Back to Davidson, their leading scorer, and she hits the 3.
And that is something that Furman likes to do late in shot clock. They'll kind of reject the on ball, take it baseline, and hit that wrap 3.
Stady missed the layup after beating Taylor Petty off the dribble.
And man, I've got to say, this is a great start for UGA. Coming off the exam break, you're never quite sure how your team will respond because they've been mentally drained from all the studying. Furman in the midst of their finals right now as well.
It was the other Taylor that she beat off the dribble, Lindsay Taylor. the corner, and that's Petty. Rebound Conley. Cold shooting start for Furman, 1 for 5. Nice pass by Morrison. No look, flip over the shoulder for the conversion by Ball.
And I don't know if it's just me, Matt, but this already looks like a quicker pace for UGA than what we've seen in earlier games this season. I've got to credit Q Morrison being on the floor for that.
Underneath, and Hodges is fouled. Or perhaps she was not fouled.
Deep outlet to Q Morrison, who sets up Paul, who runs the floor hard for the easy two in transition.
So I missed the call. I thought we had a whistle underneath and a foul, but it was traveling was the call. Maya Caldwell misses. Hodges the rebound. She's their top rebounder.
And Matt, Selena Taborn is back in for Furman. Has missed the last 2 games because they thought she had an ACL injury. And instead, it was just a knee sprain, and here she is making her presence felt immediately.
Immediately, an and one opportunity for Taborn, and Taborn gives them an opportunity to match up physically with Jenna Stady. You take a look at her numbers, 9.5 points per game, and leads the SoCon, 63% shooting from the floor.
Well, not just size, experience. When you're going to go up against someone who's much bigger than you, like Jen Stady, Taylor has the ability. She's just a freshman, though, and by far probably the biggest post that she's faced to her early part of her career.
Taborn's three-point play cuts the Georgia lead to 9-6, 4 minutes in. Bounce into the post, and Paul working against Petty. 9 on the shot clock. Good ball movement by Georgia. Stady hits the baseline jumper. That's her second basket.
And I love it when Jen Stady just does that little reverse pivot and does not hesitate and then knocks it down like we just saw.
Unforced turnover by Furman. Joni Taylor going for her 88th win as the Lady Bulldogs coach today. Her 5th season. Looking for a bounce back, and you mentioned the tempo of the game much quicker. I imagine they worked really hard during that exam break as Caldwell gets the basket underneath, coming off that big loss at Baylor.
Well, and let's not forget, Baylor is the defending national champion, and they do have so much talent and depth. And UGA battled. Joni Taylor told me, we did some really good things. Unfortunately, it was just some of the scoring droughts that they had just made that lead insurmountable for them to come back.
I think Georgia's always going to play better the quicker they play.
I agree with that. And one stat that I've watched consistently this year is just the lack of fast break points for UGA. That's why I like Q Morrison on the floor. The best defender for UGA who gets the break started.
Jump ball called, so the possession arrow pointing Furman's way. They'll have the ball when we get back.
It's the holidays. Time for family, food, and freaking out about what to get for your parents. Socks? Candles? A sock candle? Wait, just get them a Nest Hub from Google and give them what they've been asking for all year. More photos of you. So when they're not playing their music or checking the weather, there you are. You on vacation, you and their grandkids. Forget you, just the grandkids. One more grandkids. Happy holidays. Love, Nest.
My name is Mo Hassan, and my nonprofit Second Spoon. We're taking surplus foods and we're distributing them to the homeless in different communities. When I first got to college, I saw firsthand in the cafeterias just how much food was wasted. We need to find a way to repurpose these foods. Just seeing firsthand the homeless people's faces when we bring them food and positively affect them in that way is amazing. I just know it's more than football, and we have a platform, and I think we owe it to the community to use that platform for good.
Learn more at belk.com/projecthometown.
Georgia out to a 13-6 lead on Furman. You've got a good look right there. Jackie Carson, head coach of the Paladins, one of the all-time great players in their program history, now in her 10th season, second winningest coach. You take a look at their numbers on the year, 2-3 away from home, and they were picked first in the preseason coaches poll in the SoCon, returning 4 starters.
And Jackie told me, she says, it's a matter of respect for the building job that we've done here. She doesn't take it lightly, but she says the biggest thing for this team is they have never been hunted as they are right now. So she said they spend as much time working on that mentality as they do any X's and O's breakdown in practice every day.
Here's a look at that SoCon coaches preseason poll. Furman vast majority of the first place votes was 6. Wofford and Mercer, a team we've already seen in the Bears, picked number 3 in the conference. And Furman will open their conference schedule on January 9th against Susie Caldwell and those Mercer Bears. And Jackie Carson, always a fashion icon when she walks in to the Stegman Coliseum. There's no doubt about it. She gets dressed for the occasion.
Well, just the shoe game of both head coaches today, I'm very envious of. But, I mean, for them to move up and down the sidelines the way they are, mad skills by both head coaches.
Yeah, I can see the shoes that Joni Taylor is wearing today. And those were not the shoes that I saw her in 10 minutes before the game. So those are her game shoes. And there you see, wow. I don't know. I think it's a standoff. It's a standoff.
I want the male opinion. Which one would you wear, Matt, if you had to pick a pair?
I don't know how women wear those shoes with the high heels. It hurts my feet just to look at it.
I will tell you this: when you squat, it's much easier to squat in heels than it is in flats.
I'll keep that in mind. Davidson has already hit 1 3, misses her second attempt, and the rebound by Conley. That's her second board of the game. Inside for Stady. That's the first turnover for Georgia.
But you'd much rather have those types of turnovers. Dead ball turnovers first and foremost, but turnovers being aggressive in transition.
And Kayla Hubbard comes into the game for Georgia. She subs in for Stephanie Paul.
And Hubbard's gotten more minutes of late at that 4 position. They've been able to utilize her versatility on the offensive end and just her high basketball IQ on the defensive end.
Mana Leovich, their point guard, had 7 assists in their victory against Richmond last Sunday. A 70-69 win on the road.
And Matt, she's their floor general. She's got to be able to get them in an offense and take care of the ball. On the season, she has been averaging 4 turnovers per game. That's something she can't afford to do today if Furman's going to come out of here with a W.
On the baseline, Davidson the miss and Conley another board. And I think that's a question for Georgia. Who's their floor general going to be? We know Conley is the person who has the job, and she's probably the most qualified for the job. But is that the best job for her in this Georgia team? Is she better suited as a 2-guard?
Well, still a lot of moving pieces for the UGA offense. Chloe Chapman still trying to get her legs under her offensively and defensively. We could see Shania Jones today, the Virginia Tech transfer. So those are 2 guards that could help take some of that pressure off Conley from a point guard position, but they're still getting acclimated to the system as well.
You mentioned Shania Jones. This is the first game that she is eligible to play now that exams are over and the fall semester is officially over.
Matt, to your point about Gabby Conley, Joni Taylor told us this is her first true scoring point guard that she's had as a head coach. They've really had to change the offensive system in order to get Conley those touches.
I think it's a real challenge, Coach. You coached a long time. You know a scoring point guard, it can be done, but it is no doubt a challenge for the offense.
Well, this team feeds off her. We know that. When Gabby's scoring, this offense scores as well. The hoop gets bigger for all her teammates. The problem has been when teams have been able to limit her touches, limit her shot opportunities. Where does the offense come from? And that's where Joni Taylor said Maya Caldwell and Jenna Stady have to give us points.
Missed by Morrison. You saw the open lane for Hodges to score the last time Furman was on the floor, and immediately Joni Taylor went to the bench, and Mallory Bates getting ready to come in. She was not pleased with that lack of defense.
Well, I don't think Joni's mentality has changed. She still wants defense first. However, she knows with the youth in some of these positions, the inexperience in some of these positions, defense isn't the mainstay yet. So they've got to be better in the half-court offensive execution.
Fouls on Conley. That's number 1 on her. Morrison comes off the floor, as does Stady, and Bates and Hose come on the floor for Georgia. 3 team fouls on Georgia. Still no team fouls for Furman. Under 3 minutes to play in the quarter. Hodges shoots over Bates, and Hose gets the loose ball, brings it up.
And that's one of those sets that Furman loves to run for Hodges. Well defended by UGA that time.
Hubbard comes out to set a screen. They go the other way with the offense. Down low for Bates, and the ball was knocked out of her hands, blocked from behind by Tabor.
Lob in. to Bates and Taborn. Very fortuitous there, able to get the block. And I say fortuitous because she was caught behind, and that should have been an easy feat for the two, but the help side got there just in time.
On the shot clock for Georgia. Conley drives the baseline, and a blocking foul on Furman. Hodges called for the foul. First team foul on the Paladins.
And Furman wants to apply a lot of ball pressure because they want to try to impact UGA's ability to get the ball inside. With all that ball pressure now, can they contain the dribble penetration of UGA? So that's where the help side comes in for the team in purple.
Hodges came off the floor, and Sutton West, a local kid, played at Wesleyan in Atlanta, one of the great state girls basketball powers in Georgia. Sutton West playing here in her hometown. Of course, Hodges is another, not her hometown, but her home state. Hodges is another from the state of Georgia. She played at Alcovey, about 45 minutes away.
Yeah, when I think of Wesleyan, I think of a well-coached team. So immediately when I started watching Sutton West, I expected a high basketball caliber athlete.
Hubbard on the drive, takes it all the way and lays it in. Of course, Kayla Hubbard was a player at Wesleyan's top rival, Holy Innocents. So Hubbard and Wes are no doubt familiar with each other. And Davidson nails her second three and turns around and says something to the crowd. Got a little spunk.
I think it was Happy Holidays. I'm pretty sure that's what she said.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, I think that was it. You're right, Coach.
You know what? If you're going to talk the smack, you better back it up. So far, she's knocked down two threes, which has kept Furman in this game.
Inside for Bates, and Bates on the opposite side of the rim missed it up close.
Well, a switch on the on-ball screen to a much smaller player. Bates has to be able to finish that shot.
4-point lead, Georgia. Less than a minute to go now. Knocked away by Conley. She's on the break and stops and puts it in. And player down for Furman. And doesn't look good. She has not been able to move yet as they get the trainer out there. Stephanie Owens to take a look at her. Manaliovich favoring her right leg. It's very odd the way she has the leg suspended in the air like that. I think it's because she can't straighten out her knee. Now she finally has. I think that's what it was. I think she was having difficulty straightening out her leg. And I didn't see what happened. It might have been a hyperextension, I'm thinking, just based on her reaction to it. But we'll wait and see what happened. Here's another look at what happened. Oh, yeah, she just fell hard on the lefty. It's not the right leg, but it's the left leg.
You really hope that she's okay. And what's so ironic about that is I asked Jackie Carson yesterday, who's the one kid who has to play well for your team to have success? And she said, Milanovic. She said she has to be steady for us. And that's not just for this game. That's your starting point guard. So they need her to be okay for SoCon play that's coming up.
Yeah, young lady out of Montenegro who actually played her prep ball at Rabun Gap, Georgia Nakuchi School up in the mountains. And so Jaria Alton will take over at point guard for the Paladins. Sutton West on the drive, dishes off for Tabor.
I gotta say, that's one of the best executed plays Furman's had yet in this game. Came down, read the defense extremely well for that easy layup.
Hose three-pointer on its way and missed. Mallory Bates kept it alive, down to 22 on the game clock, 17 on the shot clock, so a 3-second differential. Hubbard spins up top. Clock winding down in the quarter. Stolen by West. Furman's going to get the last shot here. Davidson maneuvering, launching the three, and hit another, and then struck a pose. I love it. Leger Davidson, their leading scorer, putting on a show here. 9 of Furman's 16 points in the first quarter. And a 1-point lead for Georgia as we head to the second here at the Steg.
My name is Mo Hassan and my nonprofit Second Spoon. We're taking surplus foods and we're distributing them to the homeless in different communities. When I first got to college, I saw firsthand in the cafeterias just how much food was wasted. We need to find a way to repurpose these foods. Just seeing firsthand the homeless people's faces when we bring them food and positively affect them in that way is amazing. I just know it's more than football, and we have a platform, and I think we owe it to the community to use that platform for good.
Learn more at belk.com/Project Hometown.
LaJay Davidson not bashful in that first quarter. 3 of 4 from behind the three-point line, 9 of Furman's 16.
Came in averaging 3 makes a game, and she's done it in a variety of ways. The wrap with the 3, and the biggest one at the end of the quarter, knows how much time's on the clock, measures up, and knocks it down.
Davidson and Taborn combined for 14 of Furman's 16 points in the first 10 minutes of the game. And you see at 9 points, she's just 4 points off her per-game average of 13 plus. And she's already hit more threes in the first quarter than she averages per game. 27 threes in their first 9 games of the season.
Matt, with her persona, her spunk that she's shown just in the first quarter, I don't think she's done by any means in this game.
Shania Jones in the ballgame for the first time as a Georgia Lady Bulldog, number 21 on the dribble right there.
I asked Joni Taylor, what should we expect from Jones? She goes, she's a walking bucket. Expect her to be able to score at all 3 levels. And right now, obviously, executing from the point position.
So the foul on Furman and Lindsay Taylor. That's her first. George on the inbounds. Ball comes in. Shania Jones, that's her first shot. And that's her first basket.
There's your walking bucket right there, Joni Taylor.
Davidson. Wow. 4 3-pointers for LaJay Davidson. Bates, step back. Rebound Petty.
And Matt, it's early, but for the bigs, the true post players for UGA, right now they're 2 of 7, and they are the tallest players on the floor. Would like for them just to get down low and power it up strong.
Offensive foul on Taylor on the screen. That's her second.
But on the other end, Davidson is hot. Her teammates know it. She knows it. Nice head fake to get her defender in the air. Keeps that toe down to knock down her 4th 3 of the game. Easily
the leading scorer in this game after 11 minutes, 12 points. Playing with a lot of confidence right now.
I call that swagger. Not confidence. That is definitely a swagger this young lady's playing with.
She's got that too.
Furman's doing Furman's doing a great job in trying to minimize the dribble penetration. The one breakdown, UGA gets in the paint for that easy dish for the 2.
That's 4 points attributed to Shania Jones since she came into this game, a bucket and then an assist for the bucket. Taborn, and a whistle before the shot. Foul on Georgia. See the story on Shania Jones, the transfer from Virginia Tech, and her first game eligible to play at Georgia today. Played in 5 games last season, a limited sample size with the Hokies last year. Ironic that Shania Jones transferred here. Taja Cole transferred from here to there. Totally unrelated. Ball knocked out of bounds. Georgia's ball. Stady inside to Paul, banks it in.
Great patience on offense by UGA. There's Furman switching positions 1 through 4, so Paul had a mismatch on the on-ball screen, takes her down low and scores for the 2.
Paul 3 for 3 in 7 minutes. Lady Bulldogs shooting 48% from the floor. Turnover, Furman, number 6 for them.
High on-ball screen. Stephanie Paul takes the defender down low. Nice little turnaround in the low post.
Gabby Conley brings it across. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists for Georgia's point guard. Another 3. Stady got her fingertips on it, out of bounds. Or a foul. A foul. This will be on Alton. First personal foul on her.
Sorry, Matt. Alton got called for holding Jones as Jones was trying to get that loose ball rebound.
Jones on the floor, dropped it off for Paul, and a foul on Furman.
Jones is making her presence felt. She's playing with so much energy, so quick off the bounce. Little set play comes up the gut, takes it off the bounce. Defense rotates, so she finds Paul in the weak side block.
Hodges called for the foul. That's 2 on her, 4 for Furman in the first 3 minutes. It took them 7 minutes to get their first team foul in the first quarter, and they picked up 4 here in the first 3 minutes of the second quarter. Paul already with 8 points and Georgia's leading scorer so far today.
And we're seeing some full court pressure now from UGA. Little man-to-man. And I like this call by Joni Taylor. You've got a backup point guard in. You've got what she considers her pressing lineup in because Q Morrison's being on the floor. So go ahead and extend it. Try to get the pace back up of the game.
Reach and foul called on Morrison. First on her, second team foul on Georgia. West working against Paul. Scoops it up. Wild shot. Rebound Jones. Ahead to Morrison, streaking down the floor. Didn't have a good angle on the basket, and Georgia turned it over. That's unfortunate. You can't miss those fast break opportunities like that.
Well, I was about to compliment Q Morrison for not forcing up the bad shot. Unfortunately, she put Gabby Conley in a bad position just to try to keep the ball alive.
Third turnover for Georgia. Lady Bulldogs on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Turnover number 7 for Furman.
And that was Jackie Carson's greatest fear. Are we going to turn it over? Is that going to lead to easy transition points? The good news is 3 of those turnovers have been dead ball turnovers, so UGA hasn't been able to get out and run. But the bad news of that is players like Davidson aren't getting shot opportunities in an attempt to cut into this lead.
Jones hits the three-pointer. So that's her first three-pointer, and she's got 5 points. Pretty much an immediate impact, 5 points and an assist so far, so she's contributed 7 to the cause.
You just feel like it's all this energy in a bottle that's been uncapped, and now she's just ready to go ball out today. She's beating the players off the bounce, so they back off a little bit. She raises up off the on-ball screen and knocks down the 3.
9-0 run for Georgia. On the shot clock. Down to 2 on the shot clock, and Furman has turned it over. Or do they get the ball here?
Furman's ball. They're calling Stephanie Paul with the kick out of bounds.
So 2 seconds to play on the shot clock.
Great hustle by all the players, getting on the floor, a little scrum there, and Stephanie Paul kicks it out of bounds.
Lob inside, and a foul by Georgia. And Taborn is hurt. They've already seen Maniliovic go to the bench with an apparent leg injury, and now Taborn is slow to get up, and she's favoring that left knee.
Two seconds on the shot clock. Great execution by Furman with the lob pass. Unfortunately, Stephanie Paul gets there late, gets called for the foul. And because, Matt, the coaches and the trainer came on the floor, the officials are requiring Taborn to leave the floor. Therefore, Lindsay Taylor's coming in to shoot these free throws.
Actually, this is going to be Grace Van Rye.
Oh, sorry.
Grace Van Rye is going to come in and take the free throws, the sophomore forward out of Knoxville.
And you wonder if that's why Grace Van Rye is in over Lindsay Taylor. Lindsay Taylor, a 36% free throw shooter. Grace Van Rye, a 67% free throw shooter.
Hit the second of the 2. Georgia's lead 8. Georgia turns it over. Shania Jones got in deep and then lost the ball. Davidson cooled off a little bit in this second quarter. Georgia's increased the defensive intensity on her, too. Down the floor, Stady. That was a good job by Stady to run the floor, however. Georgia pokes it away. Chloe Chapman in the game comes up with the steal. Jones open for a 3 and buried it. Shania Jones with 8.
If Jones can keep this up for UGA throughout the season, it gives them another score. This is what I feel like UGA's been missing. So much pressure's been on Connolly to score. Now, with Jones on the floor, a second score is emerging.
Who do you think of when I say hero? Is it someone in a cape or is it someone you know? In SEC country, being a hero means tutoring a struggling student, feeding hungry neighbors in your community, or showing up at a hospital to make a child's day a little brighter. Heroes are all around us, and Belk wants to celebrate them with what we're calling Project Hometown Heroes. We'll show you everyday heroes that are strengthening the communities around the SEC. Now, who do you think of when I say hero? Learn more at belk.com/Project Hometown.
Well, in her first 5 minutes in a Georgia Lady Bulldogs uniform, Shania Jones has already set a career high with 8 points.
I think this is an early Christmas present to Joni Taylor. Shania Jones, 3 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3. She's drawn 2 fouls. She's got an assist. Beautiful hesitation and go to set up Steph Paul down low. And her only blemish is 1 turnover. Tremendous stat line for so early in her UGA career.
And that career high includes the 5 games, of course, that she played at Virginia Tech last year. So already making an immediate impact. As you see, she is 2 for 2 on her 3-point shots in this game and 3 for 3 from the floor. She's thrown in a couple of rebounds and has an assist as well. So Georgia on a 12-1 run over the last 3:51 to open up what was a close game. And we'll see if Furman can get back in this thing as Davidson has cooled off a little bit. Davidson is just 1 for 3 in this quarter after going 3 for 5 in the first.
Well, Matt, a big part of that are 4 turnovers and only just over 6 minutes of play, just under 6 minutes of play.
Right.
It's hard to stop the momentum of UGA when you continue to turn it over.
And 9 turnovers overall. Nice pass, and the finish by, Isaacs. Spoke too soon, went in and out. Now Jones, another shot, another make. Double digits for Jones. How about that? She has 11.
And that's a second chance opportunity that UGA created by getting on the glass.
The drive and the miss. That was Maddie Griffon. And the rebound by West. Griffon, the freshman from Copperas Cove, Texas, now in there running the point, got knocked down.
What key for both teams were to Furman keep UGA off the glass. UGA wanted to own the glass. They keep it alive, kick it out to Jones for her third 3 of the game.
So Jones comes off the floor to a nice applause, 11 points in 6 minutes. 4 for 4 from the floor, 3 for 3 from the line, or 3 for 3 behind the line, the three-point line. And Griffon is at the line.
Matt, something to watch. We're seeing Griffon on the floor now. Hasn't played a lot of minutes this season due to the injury of Modiljovic. You're seeing Tabor out there playing extended minutes after missing the last 2 games. You wonder if fatigue's going to start becoming a factor for Furman.
Nicholson misses, and Taborn blocks out. And the foul on Nicholson over the back. So both teams now in the bonus. And Taborn will walk the floor and get a chance to take those free throws she didn't get to take a few moments ago.
It's crazy. She is coming into today shooting 63% from the field against sometimes taller players down low. She's been able to knock them down, but she struggled from the free throw line at this early point in the season at only 52%.
She's 2 for 2 in this game, and Furman's 4 for 6. I know.
You jinxed.
I know.
Yet again, it continues into December. The Matt Stewart jinx.
Morrison takes the 3, and Nicholson snags the rebound for Georgia. Georgia resets the offense. The clock goes back to 20, not 30. Morrison, high off the glass and then off the rim and then off of Nicholson out of bounds.
Credit Taborn for staying between Morrison and the basket as she turned the corner trying to get that layup and was able just to alter Q's shot to make her miss.
Effort to get a medical update on Maniljovic at halftime if we can. She has not re-entered the ball game since being injured 9 minutes in.
Well, she was back in the locker room and just re-entered the arena now behind the bench with her team.
So hopefully she can return. Furman's got a couple of games this weekend down in Boca Raton.
How come we never get those games?
I was getting ready to say, Coach, I mean, I'm sure they need play-by-play in color for that tournament. Inside for Nicholson, she traveled. Turnover 5 for Georgia.
That's just a youthful move. She knew the move she wanted to make instead of reading the defense. But you're seeing the ability of Javin Nicholson. Strong, physical, good footwork. Just should have read the defense there instead of having a pre-planned move.
12-point lead for Georgia. They've outscored Furman 17-6 in the quarter. West bounces into Taborn. She's working against Hubbard and banked it in.
Great job by Taborn to use her body, get the seal, and then power it up for the 2.
And recognition by West as well to recognize they got a mismatch down on that low block.
She's a Wesleyan kid, after all. We knew she'd have great basketball IQ.
And Caldwell slams to the floor. Hopefully she's okay. Looks like she will be. And she'll be going to the line. Or maybe not. No, she will. It's a blocking foul.
Taborn just rolls and gets the seal on Hubbard down low and then just powers it up to get the 2. Alton tried to rotate over to draw that charge on Caldwell. Unfortunately, I think started to take the charge before the contact was even made. Therefore, took Caldwell out. Good call by the officials for the 2 free throws for Caldwell.
Caldwell's first trip to the line today. She now has 6 points with the make. 6 points on 2 of 4 from the floor, 1 of 3 from behind the 3, 1 of 1 at the line, a couple of rebounds and an assist in 13 minutes for Maya Caldwell. And a sub in for Furman as Griffon comes in, and Alton goes out. They're having to go second and third team point guard with Maniliovic on the bench right now. Nearly turned it over.
Jackie Carson knew it was going to be a lot on Maniliovic to handle this UGA pressure. Now she's going to second and third string point guards. It's a difficult assignment for them.
Davidson the miss again. She's 1 for 4 in the quarter.
And credit UGA perimeter defenders. They have been on her, getting through screens, prevent her from getting touches.
Approaching a minute to play here in the second quarter, and a blocking foul on Georgia on the screen. Hubbard called for the foul, and Hubbard picks up her second personal.
And I like this move by Jackie Carson. Let's get it in Davidson's hand. Just let her bring the ball up and get us in an offense.
Conley matched up on Davidson, under a minute to play. Taborn sets the screen. Georgia switches. West on the wing. And the rebound, Morrison. So Morrison fouled after picking up her 4th rebound of the game. Van Rye's going to come in for Furman. Taborn will take the bench for the final 45 seconds of this half. Taborn scored 8 with 3 rebounds in 14 minutes. Morrison looking for her first point of the game.
And I like that substitution. Get Taborn out. Let the half. You're in striking distance right now. Don't risk another foul. Because Hodges has been on the bench the better part of this quarter with her second foul.
Right. Yeah, Hodges has been pretty much a non-factor. Just 2 points in 10 minutes of this half. There's a difference of 15 seconds game clock, shot clock here in this first half. Van Rye. And out of bounds off of Georgia. So shot clock off. Furman can play for last shot if that's what they choose to do. No, take that back. It goes back to 20 seconds, so there'll be a difference of 8.
And Matt, what I'm seeing from the young guards of Furman right now, they're so sped up, and that's what UGA's defense is doing to them. They've got to be able to execute versus the high pressure.
There's only 2 starters on the floor right now for Davidson, or rather for Furman, Davidson being one of them, and a travel on Davidson.
Great help side by UGA there to force the Davidson turnover.
So now 13 seconds to play. They bring in the microwave. She's points in a hurry, isn't she?
All right, so we have walking bucket, we have microwave. I wonder how many more we're going to have before this game ends for Shania Jones.
She's got 11 points in just 6 quick minutes off the bench for Georgia already in this game. Nicholson comes up to set the screen, and Conley lost the dribble. It ends up in Jones' hands, and she missed it. So, interesting debut for Shania Jones. Hits 3 3-pointers, 11 points in just 6 minutes.
The groan of the crowd as she missed that one, because this is all she's done is make shots to this point in her career. Everyone was shocked she wasn't able to knock it down at the end of the half. But it's been all UGA. The tempo's been in the Dogs' favor, leading 38-24 at the half.
My name is Mo Hassan, and my nonprofit Second Spoon. We're taking surplus foods and we're distributing them to the homeless in different communities. When I first got to college, I saw firsthand in the cafeterias just how much food was wasted. We need to find a way to repurpose these foods. Just seeing firsthand the homeless people's faces when we bring them food and positively affect them in that way is amazing. I just know it's more than football, and we have a platform, and I think we owe it to the community to use that platform for good.
Learn more at belk.com/Project Hometown.
Most intriguing matchup, where you start?
Well, I don't think there's any question. I got to go with Michigan, Alabama, because, I mean, look, PB, look, what is the big question? How is Alabama going to respond to what happened at the end of the year? And let's not forget, not only was it just a very disappointing loss in the Iron Bowl, but now, hindsight, 2020, it really knocked them out of the college football playoff. What's the mindset of Alabama? How many guys are going to dip out of this thing and not play? But I will remind you, in the 2010 season, same thing happened. They went and beat an 11-1 Michigan State team and beat their brains
But
out.
this is huge for both coaches, right? I mean, this is the first time since, 2010, we're talking about Alabama losing 2 games in the regular season. And for Jim Harbaugh, again, 0-5 against Ohio State, trying to get that off of his back. Both of these teams need that one. All right, so when you start looking at non-SEC player to know, where are we going?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a guy named Josh Uche. And this guy right here,
Get to know his name.
Get to know his name, because Alabama's going to have to find a way to block this guy. He's got 8.5 sacks on the year. That's not even in 12 games. That's 10 games. And he's got 11.5 tackles for loss. He is a guy that creates negative plays. You want to protect Mac Jones, right? You better look where this guy's every snap. This guy can go and get off the edge and create havoc.
He's like Baby Yoda. You know, he's been everywhere. That's exactly what Josh has been for that team. And ultimately, we saw a couple of pick sixes in the Iron Bowl for Mac Jones going up against a good front. SEC breakout star.
I got to go with my man Bo Nix, because you know what? He's not a freshman anymore, PB. It is time for him, and he's going to get some time to practice and get the game plan. When he comes back, they're going to give him some time off, let exams happen, and then all of a sudden, he's going to come back. He's going to feel like a salty vet. And again, let's remember, he ended on a high note in the Iron Bowl. Look, his stats aren't going to jump off the page at you, but you know what he did? He won. What do quarterbacks get measured by? How many wins they have? This is an opportunity for Auburn to come with probably the most difficult schedule in the country, if not one of the top 2 or 3, and get a 10-win season.
He had the big win against Oregon in a neutral field. He had the Iron Bowl and won that game. And we saw Gus Malzahn over at the SEC Championship game a while back. He looked happy. Remember what happened last year against Purdue in that bowl game? 100%. They put, I think, up about 100 points. Looking forward to that one. 5-star lock of the century. Where are you going?
Well, the SEC people are going to love this one. I'm going LSU.
Okay.
And I know that makes you happy, PB, right? It makes them happy. But here's what I truly believe. I've watched a football team in the last 2 weeks really kind of gel and come together as a complete football team. We don't have to go through all of the ins and outs of how great the offense has been. Yep. Now I see a healthy defense. Against Texas A&M, 169 total yards is what they gave up. They had 6 sacks, 3 picks. In the SEC championship game, they held Georgia to under 300 yards of total offense. I see him healthy. Grant Delpit looks healthy. Rashard Lawrence looks healthy. Glenn Logan. And I think all the people around, the way Stingley's playing, the way Fulton's playing, I just think it's now a very complete football team, and I think this is a no-brainer win against an Oklahoma team that's been so-so on defense during the year.
Another team I might look at, Mississippi State. I think Joe Moorhead wants to make a point and get his Bulldogs off in his first postseason win as well.
Who are you most intrigued to see?
Well, it's a matchup that Coach and Dari were just touching on, Virginia Tech versus Kentucky. When you think about a one-dimensional offense, one that averaged 274 rushing yards, and then when you looked at the transition that Kentucky made quarterback with Lynn Bowden versus a Virginia Tech defense that is headed by Bud Foster and a guy that is a historic defensive mind and what obviously would be his last game as the Hokie defensive coordinator, the idea that he's going to be facing what is truly a one-dimensional offense, I think that that's a fascinating matchup, especially considering the work that Eddie Grand did throughout this season as an offensive coordinator. You're talking about two great coordinator minds. It'll be interesting to see how they match up. And when you look at the non-SEC contenders.
This is the thing I'm most excited for you to tell me about.
Where do you see this? James Lynch for Baylor. And he's a defensive lineman. They run that 3-3-5, a guy that spends time on the edge, on that offensive tackle. He does a great job of getting into the offensive backfield. 18.5 tackles for loss, 12.5 sacks. He's incredibly disruptive, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year versus a Georgia offense that is clearly floundering. He is a name to know in that contest in the Sugar Bowl because he could be incredibly disruptive to what the Bulldogs want to be offensively.
Make sure you let your Georgia boys know to keep an eye on James
No
Lynch,
doubt,
okay?
yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to talk about the SEC breakout star. Well, this guy admittedly had a breakout game against Vanderbilt, 246 yards rushing against the Commodores, 2 long touchdown runs. I think we're going to see him have a big role in the postseason here, but let's not leave it only to Eric Ray. They'll be playing against an Indiana defense that's 9th in the Big Ten when it comes to stopping the run. And how about this offensive line? What was supposed to be a weakness in the beginning of the season has become a strength. Brandon Kennedy, Trey Smith. I know those guys have got to impress you with the job they've done.
Oh, man, and Trey Smith at left guard. You know, if that kid could practice the way most college football players normally practice, there's no telling how good he could be. He still projects to be a fantastic player on Sundays.
All right, you're going to call me a homer, but the 5-star lock to win.
You're such a homer.
Yeah, I told you you were going to call me.
Unbelievable.
It's the Gators, right? They're the 9th in the college football playoff rankings against the 24th ranked UVA Who's. So I think it's a mismatch in terms of that defense going up against Bryce Perkins. We talked about the one-man show that offense is. I think it's going to be a game that goes Florida's way. If it was my take everything I got, lay it on here, I'm taking the Gators to win it all.
My name is Mo Hassan, and my nonprofit Second Spoon. We're taking surplus foods and we're distributing them to the homeless in different communities. When I first got to college, I saw firsthand in the cafeterias just how much food was wasted. We need to find a way to repurpose these foods. Just seeing firsthand the homeless people's faces when we bring them food and positively affect them in that way is amazing. I just know it's more than football, and we have a platform, and I think we owe it to the community to use that platform for good.
Learn more at belk.com/projecthometown.
Halftime here at Stegman Coliseum. Georgia on the strength of a strong second quarter. Now out by a 14-point margin on Furman, 38-24. Matt Stewart joined by Coach Christy Thomas-Cuddy and Shania Jones. What a debut for her in that first half for the Lady Bulldogs.
It's like magic in a bottle. Someone took the lid off and poof, there she is. She's been dynamic, and the most positive thing I can say about her, plus 13 when she's been on the court for UGA.
Really the tale of two different quarters. First quarter, it was Lejeune Davidson hit 3 3-pointers. It was a 17-16 game after 10 minutes.
Davidson started off 4 of 5 from the 3. UGA defense, latter part of that second quarter, clamped down. She went 0 for 3, hence the 13-point lead that UGA extended in that second quarter.
Georgia outscored Furman 21-8 in that second quarter, and that coincided with the debut of Shania Jones.
She did a little bit of everything. Came off a curl, knocked down her first bucket in a Lady Dog uniform. Then played a little bit more of a point, set up her teammates for some easy two-point opportunities, and continued to show her versatility with some hesitation moves, setting teammates up. And then she was like, I can knock it down from deep as well with 2 of her own long balls.
And your first half stats, Georgia's shooting 36% from the floor, 41% overall, and 32% for Furman, and then 36% on their threes.
Well, Matt, this is the first time this season that I can say Gabby Conley's been held to 4 points and UGA's had a lead. Usually when she has struggled, there hasn't been the scoring from her teammates. Today we're seeing a different UGA balanced ball club with 17 points off the bench.
All right, let's take a look at the non-conference scoreboard, and the big one as number 7 Louisville on Kentucky's home floor knocks off the 14th ranked Wildcats.
Kentucky had a lead, and then Louisville stormed back to snatch, or I should say to give Kentucky their first loss of the season.
And Gary Blair going for career win number 800 and a 16-point lead for the 11th ranked Aggies against Houston in the third quarter. And Manojlovic is back in the ballgame.
And that's huge for Furman. You need your general back on the floor, help your teams get into a half-court offense and execute.
Manojlovic played only 9 minutes in that first half, went out with a knee injury or a left leg injury, perhaps we should define it, but did commit 4 turnovers in those 9 minutes and was scoreless.
And unfortunately, Furman starts off this second half with a turnover, but the good news is Hodges is back on the floor for her team.
Tiara Hodges, young lady from nearby Alcovey High School in the Atlanta area, about 45 minutes away, committed 2 fouls and was pretty much ineffective because of that in that first half. She is the SoCon Player of the Week and really a big reason why the Paladins have won their last 3 games.
Well, she just gives some versatility in terms of the offensive play sets that they can call. They do a lot of action for her to screen and pop, and then she drives, but she has not been able to get touches in this first half.
2 possessions, Coach, and 2 turnovers for Furman to start the second half.
And that's at least the 5th of those turnovers that has been an entry pass to the wing with the ball going out of bounds.
And as you pointed out on the halftime stats, Georgia has really chewed them up on the points off turnovers. Petty had it knocked away by Caldwell. Drives, reverse layup.
Petty's been known as a three-point shooter early in this season, and that time gets crowded. Smart move to put it on the deck and get to the rim.
5th-year senior played her high school ball at Dorman in Spartanburg. Inside Stady. Got position on Taborn down on that low block.
And Matt, you nailed it. She had 2 feet in the paint position. That's difficult for any defender to stop.
Georgia has never lost to Furman. 15-0, the all-time lead in the series. 11-0 here at the Stegman Coliseum. Hodges sinks the bucket, and Hodges with her second bucket, 4 points in the game.
And that's Hodges' range. She can easily step out 17 foot, maybe even 18 to 19. I'm surprised Stady didn't come up a little bit tighter on that to contest.
Inside for Stady, working against Taborn, left it short. And Manojlovic comes out of there with the dribble, and she fumbled it out of bounds. Just a sloppy start to this third quarter, continuing what was a sloppy first half for Furman. But that was one of our storylines. That was one of our factors in this game. Both teams have to take care of the ball. Georgia has, Furman hasn't.
Furman came into this game averaging 22 turnovers per game, giving opponents 21 points off those turnovers. It's difficult to win when you're setting the opponent up like that.
Inside Stady got in deep again, and Taborn fouled her. So Taborn picks up the foul, and that's going to be number 2 on her.
You almost feel like the halftime discussion was get the ball down low. 2 out of 3 possessions. Jen Stady has buried her defender underneath the basket for the easy feed. This time draws the foul to get to the free throw line.
Stady at the line, and Georgia's a perfect 7 for 7 at the line. I was waiting until after the free throw, so I wait for after the second free throw.
No one could see the look I just gave you, Matt.
I saw it. I did.
Matt! And it continues.
Like I've said before, I got to figure out a way to monetize this thing and play it to my benefit. Davidson heaves up a 3. That was a poor shot. She gets a look from Coach Carson afterwards.
Well, Davidson starts the game 4 for 5. Has since then gone 0 for 4, but I'm going to credit UGA's defense to making it difficult for her to even get a clean look.
Paul's now in double figures. She has 10, the second Lady Bulldog to get to that plateau. She's got her 10 in 12 minutes. Conley in a wrestling match, and Manojlovic launches the 3. And Stady, how they didn't call, they finally did. Taborn had a lock on her arm and pulled her to the floor.
We're going to call that a holiday hug, for lack of a better term. The shocking thing was Taborn looked shocked that she got called for the foul. Wraps her up, holding on to her.
That's a big trick, though. They like to do that. They kind of like get the opponent's arm kind of tangled up underneath their own arm and then start to pull away as if, hey, what's going on here?
You don't want to risk injury, but if you're ever hooked like that, you do want to do what Stady just did and create the separation so the official can see it. It's when you stay locked in that it gives that defender that advantage.
Taborn's now got 3 personal fouls and goes to the bench. And Paul, with their second bucket of this quarter, now with 12 points and Georgia's leading scorer.
Well, credit Q Morrison for the beautiful assist to set Paul up.
Conley knocks it out of bounds.
High screen on the ball action, and Q Morrison threads the needles between the defender. Paul finds it and puts it in.
Paul, one of 2 seniors on this Georgia team.
Matt, one thing I'm seeing from Furman right now in their offensive execution is they're looking to teammates and they're making passes. They're not seeing the defense, and that's allowing UGA to get their hands on passes and create some turnovers.
Foul on the floor on Georgia. Angel Stanton making the call over on the far side. Foul was called on Stady. Hodges, rebound, Caldwell. Furman has scored only 12 points in the last 15 minutes of this game after scoring 16 in the first 10. Paul, rim out. Morrison chases down the rebound. That gives her 5 boards for the game. Paul open. Paul tips it to Morrison. Great hustle by Georgia.
Great hustle by Q Morrison. That's her second offensive rebound just in this half-court possession for UGA.
Conley. Paul the offensive rebound and basket. 11 offensive rebounds now for Georgia.
And 3 in that one possession. That was Jackie Carson's greatest worry. If UGA, not the first chance opportunities, but the second and third, and you're starting to see a little bit of the frustration by Furman. Those are just things that'll kill your confidence when you're already down.
Stady with a good defense to force Taylor into the poor shot. Georgia up 19. It's their largest lead of the game. Conley, 3-point attempt. Stady the offensive rebound. Georgia continues to wipe them out on the offensive glass. And a timeout called by Jackie Carson. Georgia out to a 21-point lead, just whipping them badly on the offensive boards.
My name is Mo Hassan, and my nonprofit Second Spoon. We're taking surplus foods and we're distributing them to the homeless in different communities. When I first got to college, I saw firsthand in the cafeterias just how much food was wasted. We need to find a way to repurpose these foods. Just seeing firsthand the homeless people's faces when we bring them food and positively affect them in that way is amazing. I just know it's more than football, and we have a platform, and I think we owe it to the community to use that platform for good.
Learn more at belk.com/Project Hometown.
After 6 field goals in the first quarter of the game, Furman only 4 field goals in the last 16 minutes of the game, while Georgia 14 assists on their 19 makes and a +10 rebounding margin with 12 offensive rebounds in the game.
And Matt, 5 of those in the third quarter alone for UGA. And it's just everything's going their way. They miss a shot, they get the offensive rebound. Here's Stephanie Paul with the offensive rebound putback. And then Jen Stady off the high ball, on-ball screen, rolls hard, gets the offensive rebound for her own putback.
Caldwell having a strong third quarter. Now with 12, make that 14 points total, couple of rebounds on 6 of 9 shooting from the floor. Stephanie Paul off the floor, coming out of the timeout, and Shania Jones back on the floor.
Matt, one thing about Furman is because they're a set team, everything's about execution and timing, and this is what UGA is doing such a good job of disrupting right now.
Davidson, tough luck, knocked away by Hubbard.
Great rebound by Lindsay Taylor. I wish you hadn't put it on the floor. She would have probably had the easier putback.
8 on the shot clock. Hodges with 2. Shot clock violation. And then the ball gets lodged between the rim and the backboard. And Taborn with 3 fouls is going to check back in for Furman. And a timeout. Georgia with the big lead.
Who do you think of when I say hero? Is it someone in a cape or is it someone you know? In SEC country, being a hero means tutoring a struggling student, feeding hungry neighbors in your community, or showing up at a hospital to make a child's day a little brighter. Heroes are all around us, and Belk wants to celebrate them with what we're calling Project Hometown Heroes. We'll show you everyday heroes that are strengthening the communities around the SEC. Now, who do you think of when I say hero? Learn more at belk.com/Project Hometown.
Jackie Carson in her 10th season as Furman's head coach, 2nd most wins in Paladins history, 9th most in SoCon history, and of course, Coach, she was one of the all-time greats to wear the purple and white.
SoCon Player of the Year both in 1998 and 99. And ironically enough, the last time that Furman won a SoCon Conference Championship, Jackie Carson's senior year 20 years ago this year.
And they are picked to win the conference this year. You take a look at her accolades: second most points, second most rebounds, fourth all-time in blocks, the two-time player of the year, as you mentioned, and trying to bring them a conference championship as a player and now as a coach 20 years later. So Georgia with their biggest lead of the game, 21 here, under 3 to play in the third quarter. Shania Jones, let's see if she's still hot. Yes, she is.
So it's not just one basket, it's both baskets. This young lady is looking to score as soon as she touches the ball. 13
points for Shania Jones, just one behind Stephanie Paul, who leads the way for the Lady Bulldogs with 14.
Well, if you were Furman, you had enough things that you were focused on without even really knowing about Jones coming on the court today, and then she's just been instant offense for the Lady Dogs.
Taya Hunter with her first basket for Furman. Inside they go to Bates. Bates, big sweeping steps across the paint, had it knocked away, and Georgia's ball.
First half, only missed one shot, so why not here in the second half? First opportunity, pull-up jumper, knocks it down.
Yeah, what's amazing to me is the efficiency in which she's done it. 13 points in 8 minutes. Hence the second coming of the microwave.
You think she even knows who that is?
Probably not. He was probably done playing before she ever was born.
He had that step back, right? Wasn't he so prolific with the little free throw line step back?
Oh, yeah, he was great. Benny Johnson of the Detroit Pistons back in their World Championship days.
Bad boy days.
Yeah. Davidson. Man, since she hit that three-pointer, Furman, as a team, has just had trouble scoring the ball. Nice move. That's another assist for Shania Jones with Caldwell getting the basket.
Very impressed with Shania Jones. A lot of players who are scoring the way she is right now might have forced that shot. Instead, had the presence of mind to knock it off to her wide-open teammate on the weak side.
With this assist, coach, she's responsible for 17 points in 9 minutes.
Well, outlet pass, little Euro step. I thought she was going to take it up. Instead, has the court vision to flip it off to Caldwell on the weak side for the little left-handed jump shot.
Which was the right play to make with Taborn right there defending her. Chapman tried to split the defense, and she got fouled doing it. What's also amazing about Shania Jones, coach, is the fact that how well does she really know the offense? I mean, she knows how to score and she knows how to put it in the bucket, but how well does she know exactly where she's supposed to be on a given game?
Well, she has been practicing with this team for a year because she transferred in about this time a year ago. However, it's the chemistry piece. That's why the assists that she has today are so impressive to me. She hasn't forced the action. She's just let it come naturally, and she set her teammates up flawlessly.
That's a great way to describe it. She has not forced the action. Her points and her shots have come within the flow and the context of the offense.
The one shot in the first half that she forced, she turned it over. That was the only really misstep I can say this young lady's had at this point in the game.
Hodges had her shot blocked by Nicholson. Long outlet for Jones. Doesn't have numbers. She's going to pull up anyway and hit it. Now that was very microwave-like.
Well, I was about to say I just pulled the Matt Stewart jinx because I thought that was going to be a bad shot. But when it goes down, why not take it?
No, only I have the jinx. 25-point lead for Georgia. It was 17-16 at the end of the first quarter.
But what I loved about that whole break by Jones was the outlet pass by Chapman. No dribbling, pass the ball up the floor, so much quicker to run when you're not dribbling.
Stolen away. That was Grayson Boone. Going to drop it off for Hodges and going to lay it in.
And that's where Hodges is so dangerous. Going downhill at a transition, she's so quick and explosive off the bounce.
Final 5 seconds of the third quarter. Off a screen, man in her face. Hit it! I love it! That's just too much fun. Have a young lady been sitting out a year, transferred from Virginia Tech, gets a chance to get on the floor, and she's lighting it up.
My name is Mo Hassan, and my nonprofit Second Spoon. We're taking surplus foods and we're distributing them to the homeless in different communities. When I first got to college, I saw firsthand in the cafeterias just how much food was wasted. We need to find a way to repurpose these foods. Just seeing firsthand the homeless people's faces when we bring them food and positively affect them in that way is amazing. I just know it's more than football, and we have a platform, and I think we owe it to the community to use that platform for good.
Learn more at belk.com/Project Hometown.
Start of the fourth quarter, Georgia on top, 57-34. Matt Stewart joined by Coach Christy Thomas Cuddy. And we've also been joined today for the first time by Shania Jones.
Welcome, Shania Jones, to the party. Had 11 first-half points, picked it up where she left off here in the second half, knocking it down off the bounce, pull-up jumpers. She has been ready to score ever since she stepped on the court today.
In a word, she's been phenomenal. 17 points, 7 of 8 shooting, just that one ill-timed shot she took in the first half. 3 of 4 on her threes, couple of rebounds, couple of assists, and the incredible part is she's done all that in 10 minutes.
Instant offense.
Well, if we get the opportunity to do our post-game interview with her, I'm going to ask her if she knows who Vinnie Johnson is.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think microwaves heat up as fast as this young lady's heated up today.
Not mine. Hose has a screen to work with, goes around it, pulls up, and hits the shot.
Great job of being patient off that on-ball screen to knock down that jumper by Hose.
Boone fell down, lost the ball out of bounds. I like the way Hose recognizes the screen here by Nicholson.
Well, rejects the screen, goes the other way, has the step on her defender, and just elevates to knock it down. That was Chloe Chapman that got in there and stripped the ball away.
Shania Jones on the break. Why not? Just her second miss. Long outlet, Davidson. She'll pull up and miss the three. Might have been touched by Chapman.
Great closing speed by Chapman on that shot by Davidson. I was about to say that's the best look she's had since the first quarter, but Chapman closed out and got a piece of the ball.
Nicholson offensive rebound. Chapman takes the shot and makes her first shot. Chapman, the ESPN 5-star, number 7 rated point guard in the country. And she signed with Georgia, of course, the dual sport star. Basket underneath for Hodges. 4th basket for her. Look at that pass in traffic. That was a nice pass just to get the ball to the low block, even though Isaacs fumbled it away.
Well, this is what I mean. She's not forcing the action. Instead of forcing that shot, threads the needle, gets it inside to Isaacs, who unfortunately turns it over. And Matt, that's at least the 3rd post-entry pass that she's delivered that the post haven't been able to convert to assist for her as well. Just to completely jump on the Jones bandwagon right now.
Why not? Everybody else is. She created it. I think Georgia's got to be thrilled at what they've seen from her this afternoon, especially going forward. You got UCLA, 10th ranked Bruins coming to town for that school days game at 11 a.m. on Thursday morning. Need all the weapons you can get for that game.
Well, going into the Thanksgiving break, I looked at UGA's schedule, and it was really going to be, we're going to see where we're at. Go down to Daytona. They played an undefeated Butler team at that time. Or they lost one coming in right before then. Beat Butler, then beat an undefeated Virginia Tech team. Then, unfortunately, go down to Baylor, one of the top, if not, could be the top team in the country.
Right.
And they learned a lot from that. And this is why I think this break of exams, it's one thing to learn some things. It's another thing to have an opportunity to learn and then apply them in practice situations, which has been really difficult when you're playing so many games like UGA had been up until this 11-day break.
You see, after UCLA, we have a couple of Sunday games here on Plus, Gardner-Webb, East Carolina, and then you're right into conference play at Ole Miss the day after New Year's Day.
Well, I asked Joni Taylor, I said, with 4 games to go, counting today's, until conference season goes, what are the priorities? What are you guys focusing on? She said, we've got to take better care of the basketball.
Chapman's second basket.
Sorry. We have to take better care of the ball. We've got to do a much better job of owning the glass. I think they've done a great job of that today with 15 second chance points. And then we've got to know and execute our offense. I'm not sure if that's that much better, if it's just that Jones is on the floor today, but they're putting more points on the scoreboard.
Nicholson's block spurs the break. Shania Jones, bingo. Jones with 20. Don't know that she's going to get to the record. The record for a debut, Janet Harris, the All-American and Hall of Famer, had 39 in her debut against Valdosta State in 1981.
Hey, if you're being compared to Harris, that's a pretty good comparison in your debut.
Oh, wow. The easiest shot she had tonight.
We also wonder game shape. It's one thing to be practicing. You're wondering what kind of game shape Jones is in now. A block on one end, quick outlet pass, and Chloe Chapman turns on the afterburners to set Jones up for that 3 in the corner.
How good must that feel as Shania Jones comes off the floor and gets a standing ovation in her first game in the red and black?
I'm going to trump the standing ovation to the smile on your head coach's face as you come off the floor.
And Nicholson comes off the floor. Ari Henderson is on the floor for Georgia. Inside basket for Furman.
That's the second time Furman's run that silent out of bounds play just to isolate Taborn down low. Good job of executing and finishing by Taborn.
Chapman step back. That's 6 for her. She's yet to miss a shot on her 3 attempts.
What's so hard for Furman, they're switching off that little dribble weave up top, and UGA is so explosive off the bounce that they're able to get downhill before Furman can catch up.
Limited sample size, but so far easily the best offensive game for Chloe Chapman since joining the team.
Quick handoff, Chapman turns the corner to get in the paint, elevates and knocks down the jumper.
This is a great game for a young lady like Chapman to get some real minutes, some game time minutes.
Absolutely. She's still not only getting in basketball game mode, but from a chemistry perspective, running that point, knowing when and where to get her teammates the ball, still a work in process.
How about Henderson coming off the bench and launching the 3, had all of her teammates up on their feet. Bates tried to deny the pass, ends up getting the rebound. Henderson trips, jump ball called, Furman's ball. Timeout, 4:56 to go in this one. Georgia is going to pick up their 7th win of the season here today in full command. Georgia up 28 with just under 5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Both of these teams, in the spirit of giving here in the holidays, both of them with bike giveaways in their respective communities. The Paladins for the Freedom Fighters organization. Of course, Georgia's been doing this now for 13 consecutive years, providing bikes to needy children in the community. I think it's a fabulous idea.
Absolutely. I mean, this day and age, student athletes, as much as we talk about they deserve to be paid this or that, it's a privilege to put on a collegiate uniform, and it's so great to see these young ladies giving back to their respective communities.
Furman will watch their 3-game winning streak ended here today. They're on the road, as we mentioned earlier in the show. They're in Boca Raton this weekend. They'll play FAU, the host team, in the FAU Holiday Classic on Friday, and then either Harvard or St. Joe's on Saturday.
Well, if you're Furman, you want to be battle-tested come SoCon games, and this is what this schedule is going to do for them. Obviously, you don't want to go on the road and lose to a team like UGA. However, definitely there are lessons to be learned, and number one has got to be ball security. 18 turnovers now on the game.
There you see in there, highlighted is their Southern Conference opener on January 9th against the Mercer Bears. Team picked third in the conference preseason poll, while the Paladins were picked to win it all this year.
Well, and that's a home game for for a Furman. Yep. And so you hope if you're in the Greenville area or anywhere in South Carolina, Driveway area, you need to get to that game for SoCon play. You need to support this Furman team that's trying to do something special that hasn't been done in 20 years, and that's win a SoCon championship.
Taya Hunter coming back in the ball game for the Paladins. Jackie Carson and Joni Taylor with their annual gift exchange prior to the game. Every year they have presents they give to each other's children. Coach Carson says every year it's the UGA dolls, the little bulldogs. They've got a closet full of them now. Bates inside, foul should go to the line.
Man, I asked Joni, specifically, especially with the young post, when we're talking about Mallory Bates, Javin Nicholson, Jordan Isaacs, what have been the focus for them? And she said for Bates, it's just to slow down. She's overthinking. She's just got to read the defense, take what they give her, and that's what I saw in that last possession.
No starters on the floor for Georgia now. As Bates gets her first point of the game, 0 for 4 from the floor with a rebound in her 9 minutes. Say anything, but that was their second miss of the game.
You established the mojo earlier in the game.
But they are a nice 8 for 10 from the foul line in this ball game. That's kind of become a strength for the team this year, where it was definitely a deficient spot for them a year ago. Rippon. And put back attempt. Bates comes out of there with the ball. Chloe Chapman on the wing, Hose. Oh, yeah, nice pass by Hose.
Beautiful, unselfish play by Caitlin Hose to hit Mallory Bates, who ran the floor for the 2 in transition.
Blocked by Bates. Blocked again by Bates.
Very disciplined defense by Bates. Just walled up to get the 2 blocks.
Boone missed the 3-point attempt. Isaacs the rebound. A lot of valuable minutes being played right now by some of Georgia's younger players. Bates faces up, misses, rebound West. Furman converts.
Well, Bates didn't get the block on that one, but definitely affected the shot on the rotation over, and that left Van Rye open for the offensive rebound.
Bates beats Van Rye on the other end.
I mean, just in the last 2 minutes, you're seeing what Bates can do for this UGA offense. Her length, her physicality in the low post. Now it's just a matter of converting once she gets the ball.
And they just really need her to get these minutes because they need her to be seasoned more than she is right now going into conference play. Remember last year, she only played in the first part of the season, not even the first part, really like the first month of the season before she suffered that torn ACL. Isaac, nice touch. Her first basket of the game.
We can talk about how much they need the development of Bates because I think she's such a balance to Stady who can step out, knock it down from deep. Bates is the much more physical low post, but I also think the development of Nicholson as well as Isaac is important to this UGA team. Two more post players that have great energy, good skill sets. They're going to need some production from them as well.
Coach Carson getting some of her deeper reserves in the ball game. Van Rye with the offensive rebound and miss. And Hose up the floor for Georgia. Back to Hose from Chapman. And Boone the rebound for the Paladins. And Griffon got fouled. She'll go to the line.
Matt, I was about to be critical of Chapman on this transition defense because she stopped. And the play before that, streaking Mallory Bates. Hose gets her. And then on the other end, Bates says, I want you to know that this is my paint with two straight blocks. But I was going to get back to Chapman watches the shot go up. She's deep corner, standing there. And Furman takes off in transition, and her closing speed was astounding. She got back to the paint before Furman did. I guess you can kind of wait to get back in transition, D, when you're that fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be amazing once she learns how to play the point guard position. As I mentioned, she was the number 7 rated point guard when Georgia signed her coming out of high school in Maryland. But that's really based on athleticism. She was never really in a system where they ran an offense per se. And Henderson gets her first points of the season. So it'll be interesting to watch Chapman as she develops and becomes a point guard on this team for the future.
Well, Matt, the hardest two positions to transition into at this level, the center because of the physicality, and then the point. So it's hard for any player, much less a two-sport star like Chapman is.
So a 29-point lead for Georgia as we're down to our final 5 seconds. Georgia's going to finish up this ball game and be 7-3 going into their matchup against 10th-ranked UCLA on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. A UCLA team that's 8-0, a team that beat them by 11 at Pauley Pavilion last year.
UCLA plays today, and then we'll hit the road to come here to Athens, Georgia. Another big test for UGA coming up this Thursday here at Stegman Arena.
77-48, the final here is Georgia now 7-3 on the season. Shania Jones in her first game in a Lady Bulldog uniform was the big story here today. She scored 20 in 14 minutes on 4 of 5 shooting from behind the three-point line. And now for Coach Christy Thomas-Cuddy and our entire SEC Network team, I'm Matt Stewart. So long from Athens, where the Lady Bulldogs win big on a beautiful Sunday afternoon.